Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Week 11 already. Eric, it's week 11, man. We made it. We're to the hockey sticks of the season. So getting
Been
ready for
an interesting year already this year. Well, I guess I shouldn't say already. We're in week 11, but been kind of a crazy year on the defensive side with all the injuries and player movement with Ernest Jones going to being on 3 different teams this year and Dodson getting dropped unexpectedly, apparently because he was about to get some bonuses in his contract. So it's been kind of a crazy season.
It has, and kind of prepping for this morning, I was looking at, this is the first week we don't have a ton of like players on the questionable side. It's pretty clean as far as that goes. There are definitely some, but having 4 teams on a bye too, that kind of throws a little wrench into it. We don't have any games across the pond this week, so we're kind of looking at everything going forward. So let's dive into this week. We got some questions already in the chat. Feel free to jump on and ask questions. We are focusing on IDP side, but Eric is the quarterback whisperer, so we'll definitely answer all those questions for you as well. So any Scott Fishbowl questions, Eric's your guy.
No,
so
absolutely not.
Okay. No, come on. Too modest, sir. Too modest. So only Jack, big fan of the show coming on. Got 2 questions here, Eric. We got one is a defensive back question. This is a kick return, punt return league. Gets rewarded for that. So of course he's got a Keyshawn Nixon, Julian Love, Jordan's brother, and then Demario Lenore here. So let's go first on this one. Who you got as your 2 defensive backs?
I think you got to start Love. It's a good matchup there, and it's safer, with it being a safety. And then Lenore and Nixon's they're both good matchups this week, good choices, but I think I would choose Nixon with his punt and kick returning, since it's that kind of league. And I have a feeling Chicago is going to punt quite a bit, so hopefully he has some opportunities to return some of those punts. And even if the offensive coordinator change gives them a little bit of a bump, if they get some kickoffs, then Chicago tends to allow returns on kickoffs. So I like Lenore a lot this week, but I think I'd go Love and Nixon.
Yeah, and I think the great part about this is you have Love, who has that really high safe floor, who's going to for sure get you some tackles, and then you kind of have that upside play in Nixon. He's going to have that probably lower floor, but he's going to have that higher ceiling, and so you've got that safe play in Love, but then the home run threat with Nixon. So I like that call a lot. His second part of the question here is linebackers. He's got just an embarrassment of riches here at the linebacker. You only get 2 of these: Foye Oluokun, Zaire Franklin, Blake Cashman, or Ernest Jones. So
I'd say Zaire and Ernest Jones on this one would be my 2. Like you said, they're all great options. I think they all have good weeks. Foye, while he came back to 100% last week, played more on the line than he has in the past, which isn't great for tackle efficiency and racking up those tackles. He was 23%, I think, if I remember right, on the line, which it's not ideal for him. Whether that was just one week thing for that matchup or what, I guess we'll find out this week. But I love Zaire and Jones this week, so I'd go with them.
Yeah, I'm with you on those 2. I don't think there's a wrong answer there. I think they're all probably LB1s, but now we're just kind of splitting hairs as far as which LB1 we want to have in there. So great way to start the show. Got another question. He kind of follow up here. He had said that Jack Campbell had been dropped in his league. Should he add him over Jonathan Grenard rest of the season? We know Grenard has had an amazing PFF season, but that doesn't always line up with the stats. So he's kind of the polar opposite of what AVG is across from him. Like AVG doesn't have all of the metrics, but he's getting the plays done. And so, like there's got to be some regression on both of those sides. Where Grenard finally gets home, gets a sack here and stuff like that. But what are your thoughts on Campbell going forward? We got a lot of positive news the last couple of weeks. Malcolm Run
Yes,
has been out
3 weeks in a row. I'm
100%.
sorry. Yeah, 3 weeks in a row over 90% snap count. I mean, I'd like to think they're going to continue that. To me, he's been out playing Anzalone, and he's earned the right to stay on the field. Rodriguez is hurt, so you kind of wonder how much that helps Campbell out. If Rodriguez comes back, who does he cut into? Whose snaps does he cut into? Is it Campbell? Is it Anzalone? Anzalone hasn't been a question this year, unless he's been injured. But he's going to get the snaps. So unless Dan Campbell has decided his son is going to play more, I guess we'll see. But as far as the question here, it really depends, I think, on your league settings and your scoring. If it's a big play sack league, if and also your how risk averse you are. Grenard's going to have a more fluctuation week to week. He's going to have your boom weeks and bust weeks. Campbell should be more steady. So it really kind of depends on where you're at contending, I assume, still, hopefully. Do you just need a solid guy every week, or do you want that guy that could win you a week? So I guess I'd lean Campbell, but it kind of depends on your league settings and where you're at.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Eric, with the league settings and scoring. I think that Campbell is probably an easier replaceable position-wise, but he might not be like talent-wise. He might be finally getting it. Whereas Grenard, like we said earlier, he's playing the probably more premium position. He's in a great spot. He's doing all the right things. He's just not getting the stats. So maybe that'll change this week. They got a pretty sweet matchup this week for a chance to get things done. But I've seen good matchups before.
That depends on your league settings too. If it's true position, a little tougher to replace Campbell, I think. There's more defensive ends in a true position with all those edges.
Sure.
If it's not, then you got, and Grenard might even be a linebacker in some leagues. So he is in one of mine, unfortunately. But yeah, it kind of depends on your settings and how risk averse you are.
And if it's for this team with the linebackers that he has, now he's just going to make the start sit questions even harder if he's going to throw Campbell into that mix. So
yeah, if it's for that team, who cares?
Right. You and I might be a roster ad for that team. So all right. Eminem starting here. He's got Overshown in his starting lineup in the flex with Alshire on the bench. Is that the right move? So with Overshown having a great start to the season, I don't think I can sit Alshire this week coming back off the injury. He's got to be a top 12 matchup this week. He's got probably a top 12 LB1 this week, don't you think?
Yeah, I like Alshire. I love Overshown as well. I'm not worried about the bursitis. I've had bursitis, not in my knee and my shoulder, but a nice cortisone shot clears that right up for you, at least getting through the game. So I'm not too worried about Overshown's knee, but gosh, again, two great options here. I would go with Alshire.
Are you worried about game script at all in this one, like with the Cowboys' inept offense versus Houston maybe being on the field a little bit more? That'd be my only hesitation here.
Yeah. I would still go Alshire. I just don't know. I don't think Cooper Rush is going to be throwing the ball downfield much. I think it's going to be more short throws. I think the opportunities will be there.
Yeah, I'm gonna make the pivot here with you to Alshire. I think just probably a safer play this week for me, and also going forward. He's just, outside of the games that he missed because of injury, Alshire is consistently one of the guys we want to have in our lineups week in and week out. So
it's tough though. I don't think you can go wrong either way.
Good problems to have as we start our week 11.
Sure.
Yeah. So See that we're already up to 90 viewers this morning. That's fantastic. Please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Helps us out, helps you guys out, gets us a little more love for the show. So Sebastian's got a question this morning: who to sit this week? So he's got 3 really good options. We want to have the 2 very best options. So who would you pick here, Eric, between Spillane, Speed, and Sherwood?
Spillane's a no-brainer.
Yep.
Definitely Spillane. Speed's a little banged up. Not a great matchup. So I'd lean towards Sherwood for the other one on that.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. These are probably all, Spillane's probably a top 5 or 6 this week for me. Sherwood has just been fantastic, and Mosley is out this week. I think Speed coming in with his knee injury, he did fully participate in practice on Friday. So he was coming into the week questionable, but he fully practiced on Friday. So he's going to play. I just think Sherwood has been amazing this season for the Jets. So I think that's going to be my play there. So
yeah. And honestly, both Sherwood and Speed have great opponents for linebacker tackles, but again, it's just a Speed injury, I think.
Got a super chat here jumping in, so we appreciate that so much. Blue Crew wants to know, do we start Juwan Jennings or Tank Dell full PPR? Thanks. I love Juwan Jennings this week. George Kittle is probably not going to play in this game. We don't have Brandon Ayuk, obviously, for the whole season. We do have McCaffrey back, but they've kind of slowly easing him in. I think this game is going to be a fun game to watch. Seattle and them it's going to be a kind of an offensive throwing the ball around the yard. I like Jennings here quite a bit. He's probably my super safe play if I want to have a high floor, but Tank Dell probably could, at any given moment, take the top off and have a higher ceiling. So
Eric, I think Nico's back. Nico's back this week too, I think. So
yep.
I would go with Jennings on this one as well.
Yep. Appreciate that, Blue Crew, for the super chat. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. As always, Sebastian's coming back to your question about your PPR start. So looking at this question, and this is a tough one for me. A lot of question marks around a lot of these players. Jaylen Warren, I always like to start the running backs, but Jaylen Warren came into this week kind of dinged up. He did get in a practice earlier, going up against Baltimore, which is not you don't beat Baltimore on the ground, you beat them through the air. So that could possibly be, receptions on the ground, possibly. But and Ferguson, like we mentioned already, with the Cowboys kind of inept offense possibly this week, he's going to be out for me. So then it kind of came down to 2 players between Odunze and Bateman for me. Quentin Johnson just kind of scores on some fluky plays. They're going to be a really run-heavy team anyway, playing against the Bengals, but that might be this week they have to throw. And the more I talk about it, the more messy this one gets for me, Eric. I think I'm going to go Bateman. Bateman and Odunze.
The Bengals defense hasn't been great this year. And Herbert's been slinging it. He's looked like Herbert of old again, but yeah, I'm hoping the Bears get a little bump from the offensive coordinator change. Odunze is extremely talented. You just hope that they utilize him more. Seems like Keenan Allen's kind of been their guy here recently, but how much of that is having that poor offensive coordinator? Yeah, it's between Bateman, Odunze, and Johnston for me. Bateman's been doing more than just running down the field lately, which is nice. I'd say, yeah, it's Bateman and Odunze or Bateman and Johnston for me, and I'm struggling between Odunze and Johnston. I'd probably lean slightly towards Johnston, but it's tough.
The more we sat here and talked about it, I for sure Quentin Johnston's my guy. I'm gonna go I just think that game all of a sudden, like the game script for me now, all of a sudden playing the Bengals is going to be there. And I talked myself into my running back with Jaylen Warren just because of that. I feel that game that you're going to have to pass. So I can see a lot of Jaylen Warren, not a Najee Harris game this week.
Could be.
I think Deontay Johnson's gets a revenge game narrative, so that might negate Bateman a little bit. And I can't trust the Bears. Even firing the offensive coordinator, he's not out there making plays or protecting the quarterback. So I'm going to go Quentin Johnson and Warren. Who do you got, Eric?
I'm sticking with Johnson and Bateman, I think, on this. Okay. But it's a tough one.
All right.
Sorry,
Sebastian, we weren't
all kind of gross in a way, or one way or another. So that's a tough one.
Yeah. Some good dynasty pieces there. Just not a week 11, not a good week 11 stash for you there. So.
Honestly, with the PPR, maybe all Warren needs to. I mean, will he get 4 or 5 catches maybe? And like you said, you might have talked me into Warren and Johnson.
That's what I talked myself into it. Like I always want to lean the running back, but then like that game script. It's got a high over under. This isn't a 16-13 Pittsburgh Ravens games. That when we were younger watching. This is both high powered offenses. Russ Wilson is looking like he turned back the clock here a little bit. He's looking good. Obviously the Ravens are going to put up some points. So. Yeah, I think that the game script is talking me into it. So Carter's back with some more questions. He's fantastic. Always here. Carter, good morning to you. Needing 4 of these. So he's got 5 options here. Eric, Diablo, Dodson, Kendricks, Dorian Williams, TJ Edwards. Who are you sitting from this quintuplet?
Kendricks and Edwards are the obvious starts. I think Dorian Williams starts one more week at least before Milano comes back. And he's uber efficient, doesn't really have the snaps, but does a lot with when he's out there. So then it's I assume Dotson's going to play this week over Walker. So I would go Dotson.
Yep, I'm sitting Diablo too. Spillane's back. He's healthy. I don't think that's and I don't want to say it's not close for me, but like you said, Dorian Williams has one more week. Milano's back, kind of limiting practice off the IR list. So he's closer than he was before. So if he's on your waiver wires, that might not be a bad idea to go add him on your leagues. Kind of nice to have another linebacker for the playoff push here for many of our squads. Carter has a defensive back question here, needing 2 here. We got Jordan Battle, the Minnesota Vikings duo of Cameron Bynum, Harrison Smith, or Quentin Lake. So if you've listened to the show, I love Quentin Lake, so he's for sure for me. Eric, who you got as his running mate this week?
Bynum was my for sure.
Yep.
Battle until he plays more snaps. I'm just going to hold off on him. Him and Von Bell have been splitting snaps, but Battle is the one starting to move up in the snap count. So I just want to see it one week where he gets, 80-90% of snaps before I trust him to put him on my starting lineup. I would be tempted to go Harrison Smith and Bynum, but I don't really like playing 2 Vikings like that. So it's Bynum and Quentin Lake.
Yep. I'm with you 100% here. With Battle, we've seen this like kind of slowly trending up like 30, 40, 50%. And now for a couple of weeks, we kind of flatlined. So I don't know if that's what we're going to see with him. So that makes him a really tough start, especially, when there's so many options out there, they're getting 90, 100% of snaps. So makes that one a little easier for me to sit Battle for another week. Carter's got a defensive back question here too. He needs 2 of these defensive backs. Keyshawn Nixon, Tyreek Stevenson, or Derek Stingley. So we've already kind of confessed our love for Keyshawn Nixon this week, or the show, especially in a kick return, punt return one. So who you got for your other one here, Eric, between Tyreek Stevenson and Derek Stingley?
Well, I'm hoping Stevenson's out of the doghouse. I guess I don't know that for sure. He played 50 to 60% of the snaps last week, which is a little bit scary. He's definitely has the better matchup this week against the Packers and their passing attack. I would lean Stevenson. Stingley's more of one of those lockdown type corners that doesn't get a lot of targets his way anyway. So I think I'd lean Nixon and Stevenson.
I'm with you. I worry about that Cowboys offense. Last week they only ran 60 plays, and a lot of them were junk plays in that fourth quarter where they were already out of it. So that's a scary matchup for Stingley, not maybe getting a volume play there. So
he may sit the fourth quarter too.
He may sit the fourth quarter. Fantasy Sports has got 3 questions coming at us. Which 3 linebackers? And again, this is a really loaded group, especially on a bye week with 4 teams on a bye. Great job drafting. Amazing job drafting, working the waiver wires here. We got Foye Oluokun, Zaire Franklin, Blake Cashman, Dan Henley, Campbell, or Jewell. Jewell's an easy out because they're on a bye this week. So we've got 5 options here, Eric, and we need to pick 3 of them.
I already talked about Franklin. I'd start him for sure.
Starting Henley for sure.
Henley for sure. Since they've kind of switched to more just him playing linebacker and Perryman playing halftime, and he's still got Colson out. So Henley has been a beast here lately, and he's getting the playing time. So Henley and Franklin for sure. I'm still going to go Oluokun over Cashman.
Yeah,
they both have good too. Yeah, they both have good matchups.
Yeah,
Cashman has a good matchup.
You can't sit Foye. He's just too good of a player, too dominant, and he's been playing 100% of snaps last week. So that's nice to see that he's there. So Henley has just been a tackling machine, like you mentioned with. When Colson, they put him on IR, and then Perryman's playing 50%. I see that on a lot of betting sites that they took the Henley prop down because it was at 9.5 tackles assist, and that was in every single bet for me this week. It was just destroying that every week. So kind of a layup. Which safety, Lake or Hamilton?
It's Hamilton.
Yep.
He's healthy, ready to go. It's Hamilton.
Yep. Full practice on Friday. Wheels up. No injury designation going into the week. And then finally, I guess Fantasy Sports only had 2 questions. No, he did have 3. Should I start? Okay, so this was the one we were kind of debating earlier, Eric, about Hopkins. Should I keep Hopkins or drop him for Jennings or Waddle? I love Jennings for this week. We were kind of talking, like, if these guys are available in the waivers, it's probably a pretty shallow league. So I don't mind dropping Hopkins to pick up Jennings this week. Like if that's my play, if it's shallow bench, like it seems like it is, I love Jennings matchup this week more than I like Hopkins. So I'm going to roll the dice with Jennings.
Yeah, and I agree. We had a discussion before the show started about this one because it was interesting. I couldn't believe Waddle. Well, actually, either one, Waddle or Jennings, were on the waiver wire. But yeah, for that reason, I agree, Jeff. I'd drop Hopkins for Jennings this week.
Yeah. Summer, good morning to you. Tough defensive line decision. She needs 2 of these between Keon White, Carl Granderson, Josh Hines Allen, and Zadarius Smith. So Josh Hines Allen's is our for sure play here. And then second one, we were kind of going back and forth here a little bit. Zadarius Smith in his first game, probably in his Honolulu Blue, might not get a ton of snaps, and he gets kind of a poor matchup versus Jacksonville, who played only 45 snaps on offense last week. So probably going to lean Keon White for me. So Josh Hines Allen and Keon White for me. Eric, you got anything different?
No, I agree with that. Hopefully I'm not frozen on your screen too, but everything's
You're frozen, but we can hear you.
Okay, everything's frozen on this end. I can't read the list. Apologize for that, but it was White and Josh Hines Allen for me as well.
Is Granderson anywhere in consideration? They do get the Browns this week. They haven't been getting up a ton of points to opposing defensive linemen, but we got Tristan Wirfs out this week for them. Or wait, he's on Tampa anyway, so it doesn't matter. he's out. So good luck to you, Summer. Jason's back with the Ecto Cooler. Love the show. We love having you on. Please choose 3 of these players. We've got Spillane, Dorian Williams, Jelani Tavai, Nate Landman, Gibbons, Roseboom. Big play, tackle heavy format. So we've got a lot of great options here. Spillane for sure. I really like Jack Gibbons. He's kind of proven that he is the guy to own and start in Tennessee. With all of the turmoil and all the trades that have gone on, Gibbons has kind of proven me wrong that he deserves that place. And then I'm also going to go Landman this week with Troy Anderson being ruled out this week. I think that he is an easy start. So I'm going to go with him this week. So my 3 would be Spillane, Gibbons, and Landman. Dorian Williams is probably a close 4th for me. Just going to kind of go with that. So best of luck to you, Jason. Appreciate you coming on the show each and every week. Moving on here to Phil. Phil's got a defensive line question. Calais Campbell, Keanu Benton, and Ali McNeil. We just mentioned that Detroit has a really tough matchup this week, so not a big fan of his play. Keanu Benton, Pittsburgh gets a really nice matchup versus Baltimore, but Lamar Jackson's kind of a tough guy to bring down. And Campbell has been playing kind of lights out for us. Really like it. I'm going to go Calais Campbell in this one just because production is there. Gets a pretty decent matchup versus the Raiders, who have been giving up a ton of points to defensive linemen. They've offered 19 tackles per week over the last 3 weeks. So that's what we love to see. So we're going to go with Campbell here for you, Phil. War Clouds, welcome back. Got a couple questions from you. We'll be sure to get to those. Verse or Myles Garrett? I can't see a world where you sit Myles Garrett any week. He's proved that he is going to get it done. He gets the Saints this week, who have been giving up a ton of tackles to opposing defensive line. I can't see a world where we sit him. So unless you get bonus points for having rookies play for you, that would be where we're at. Follow up here with your linebacker question. Looking at TJ Edwards, Jones, Roquan Smith, or EJ Speed. Whew, that is some fantastic drafting there, trading, however you acquired all of those guys. I'm going to have to sit Speed here in this one. Not a great matchup. Got the knee injury. Edwards has got a wheels up matchup versus the Packers. They're going to run the ball. Ernest Jones has got a wheels up matchup versus the 49ers. And then Roquan's probably got the best matchup as linebackers go for you. So those are going to be some pretty easy options here for you. Lastly, sitting one of these 3 points for bonus. Okay. So Foye, Henley, Sherwood, Spillane, 3 points bonus for 10 combined tackles. I think all of these players are going to hit that mark. I probably these are all linebacker ones. There's there I don't think there's a wrong choice here. Put them in a hat and draw out a name is probably where to go. I'm probably going to sit Henley of this group. Cincinnati's probably going to throw the ball a little bit more than run the ball. They lost Zach Moss. So I'm going to think that they're probably going to throw the ball a little more, which means Henley might not get as many tackle opportunities in the run game. So yeah, as much as I love Henley this week, I'm going to play Sherwood, Foye, and Spillane this week. Fantastic drafting for Clouds. Thank you for the questions. Malik's question is Cashman, Tavai, and Lake or Duggar. I'm probably going to go Cashman and Duggar this week. Cashman's got a great matchup against Tennessee, who is definitely a team that definitely run the ball. Duggar's finally back. He's healthy. I don't like starting 2 players from the same team if I can avoid it. Just looking quickly at one last thing here. You know what? Let's see. Yeah, we're going to go Kyle Duggar. Cashman and Duggar for me. So, Malik, good luck to you. Appreciate the questions as always. Ken's back on the show. We got, yes, my Ugda Amanda or Terrion Johnson, 1 point per tackle, 6 points for sacks, 2 for tackle for loss, 3 for an interception. Thank you. I had the pleasure of being on the IDP prop show with Johnny the Greek this week, and he was all about Terrion Johnson. And so I'm not going to ever go against Johnny and his cornerback whispering ways. So Terrion Johnson wheels up this week, gets a great matchup versus the Chiefs. He's got playing ideal alignment, playing near the line of scrimmage. So he's going to get those tackle numbers with Kareem Hunt running the ball. He's probably going to be the guy that's going to be covering Travis Kelce, and we know that he just gets peppered with targets. So, Ken, I would put Terrion Johnson in your lineup and not even worry about it. That's fantastic. I love Amanda as far as like a streaming play. We saw it last week. He did really, really well, but it could have just been a 1 week thing, especially with Kool-Aid McKinstry being out. He's back and healthy this week, so I don't want to risk it being just a circumstantial play with him being in because of Kool-Aid McKinstry being out. So yeah, we're gonna go with that. Rich has got start 5, pick 1 to sit between Alshire, Logan Wilson, Spillane, Dan Henley, Fred Warner, and TJ Edwards. In a bye week, how are we drafting this well, people? This is fantastic. You really cannot go wrong again here with any of these plays. These are fantastic. In a bye week where we have 4 teams on a bye, and we're having to have these tough decisions between players like this, like Fred Warner's matchup versus Seattle probably might be the worst matchup of all. The Chargers are going to run the ball a ton. I'm actually going to sit Alshire here. I worry about that Dallas offense being consistent enough to put up some plays. Alshire is still the top 15 linebacker for me this week, and that's who we're sitting. Logan Wilson has a great matchup. Spillane has a great matchup. Henley, like we just mentioned, is probably him and Shire probably have the worst matchups as far as linebackers go, but they're just consistently getting it done. And Henley's been a tackle beast the last couple of weeks. Yeah, so we're gonna go with Alshire's the sit there. Fantastic job, Rich, drafting. That's kudos to you, my friend. Awesome job. Thank you. Just closed in on 150 views. Peeps on here, so please again make sure you hit that like, subscribe button, retweet if you're watching over on the X. Love to grow the brand. Love to help more people out. Ravens 3 is a play of the month. So looking at Phil here, we got some linebacker questions coming in. Spillane, Jack Campbell, Alshire, 202, Quincy Williams, Cody Barton need to start 4 of these. And let's see if we can get Mr. Eric back in here.
Sorry, I switched to my cell phone. My computer is junk.
Well, fantastic. Thanks for making it back. We just were looking at helping Phil out here with another linebacker question. He's got Robert Spillane, Jack Campbell, Alshire, 202, Quincy Williams, and Cody Barton. He has, of these 6, we need to sit 2. So 202 was the first one that jumped off the page to me as a sit this week. Tough matchup coming off the injury. And then probably, between Quincy Williams and Cody Barton for me is probably that other one.
I mean, like I said earlier, the Jets don't have a great matchup for linebackers, but I think I'd still go him over Barton.
So sitting 202 on Cody Barton?
Yeah, that's what I would do. Sit those 2.
Yeah. Jack Campbell's kind of proven he's kind of got that role, and especially if Malcolm Rodriguez continues to sit, we're in a great place there. So FYI, I need 2 defensive lineman questions. Need 2. So let's Phil go. Oh, Oh, then Phil for sure. Calais Campbell and Keanu Benton for me. With Alex Highsmith out for Pittsburgh, I think they rely a little more heavily on that rotation with Keanu Benton. I know he plays on the interior more so, but I think he gets a little more opportunity there with the rotation of the newly acquired Preston Smith there. So that's going to be my play there. So Calais Campbell and Keanu Benton.
Yeah. I think I would lean McNeil over Benton, but it's splitting hairs, so.
All right. Where are we at here? So thanks, Phil, for the follow-up. Appreciate that. I missed that on the 2. We go away from Branch this week. I even think in a tough matchup versus Jacksonville, I think he's still he's kind of proven that he's almost matchup proof. I don't know, Half-Witty, what your other options would be as far as like who you're going to pivot to. I think it would have to be almost a pretty ideal pivot to not play Branch. I think Jacksonville is going to kind of be, check down a lot of runs, so we could probably see a lot of Evan Ingram this week, a lot of Travis Etienne out of the backfield, which is perfect for what we want to see with Branch because he plays near the line of scrimmage, that slot corner spot. So kind of that hybrid linebacker role. So, unless you got some other options you want to share with us for who you're going to pivot to, I don't think we can not play Branch. Eric, thoughts on pivoting away from Branch this week or?
No, I'm sticking with Branch.
Yeah. Is he entered the matchup proof conversation for you?
Yeah, I'm just playing him.
Perfect. All right. Need a replacement for Buddha, PJ Locke, Derwin James, Kyle Duggar, or Taylor Rapp. So, Do we like Derwin James against the Bengals this week?
I do. I think I would go Derwin. And they started playing another safety, Molden, I think.
Elijah. Elijah Holden. Yep.
Which I think at least last week Derwin was playing a lot in the box, on the line, in the slot. I think I would go Derwin.
And that could possibly be because of the rotation with Perryman, not playing 100% of snaps at linebacker. So I love that call. I like that a lot. And if that's the pivot for a 1 week replacement for Buddha, sign me up for that one.
Yep.
So. War Clouds has a wide receiver question here. Cooper, MVS, and half point PPR down by a lot already. That decision might be made for you if Amari Cooper doesn't play. I know that he was kind of questionable. I don't know if we have any news yet. It's still a little early as far as the inactives for this morning's slated games. But if assuming both are going to play, say you're down by a lot already, a guy coming into the game questionable, has missed a couple games already, it really gives me hesitation to put him in. I'm going to swing for the home run here with MVS. We saw what he's capable of doing. You need that home run. So the worst thing would be to start Cooper and then he plays a couple games, re-aggravates that injury, and then sits out the rest of the game. So I'm going to go MVS here in a home run play. BJ's back. Got the Joker logo there. Start Nick Bonita or Grover Stewart as my defensive line. So, Eric, what are you thinking there between those two decent plays?
Yeah. I have a hard time, unless they're the elite defensive tackles, I have a hard time starting them over an edge. I think I would lean Bonito on this one. Stewart has been having a great year, but I'd go with Bonito.
Yeah, and both don't have great matchups, like you said. So since they both have kind of subpar matchups this week, I'm going to go with the edge player as well. I think with, the rotation that Denver is kind of rolling out now after they traded away Browning, we've seen Bonita kind of get a little uptick in snaps. Like last week, he played almost 70% of snaps. So I love that volume play there for him. So way better than the interior player of Stewart there. Jordan Hicks is back. Is Mohamed Diabate droppable? Should I pick up Carlton Davis, Elijah Hicks to strengthen my needy defensive back room instead? The thing with Hicks is, like I love Hicks to death, but he's coming off an injury. He's, JOK was supposed to be there. He's not. Is Hicks going to be healthy the rest of the year? Clearly, Cleveland trusts Diabate when he needs to be there. I don't know that Carlton Davis or Elijah Hicks are necessarily league winners at the position. I know that with Jaquan Brisker going to IR, Hicks is probably going to be the start rest of the season there for the Bears, but he's just kind of a solid play, not like a home run win play. I'm probably going to keep Diabate here just in the case that Hicks was injured preseason. He missed time during preseason. He's missed time, obviously, during the season. Father Time's undefeated here, Eric, I think.
Yeah, I'd rather keep Diabate and then I don't know if those two are on the waiver wire, I would look at maybe streaming your defensive backs instead, rotating them in and out.
Yeah. And if you let us know, BJ, who you're starting, how many you start, we'd love to kind of help you out there a little bit more too. Just kind of knowing the league dynamics, start sit kind of things are sometimes a little tricky. A lot more goes into it. So, CHB, how are we feeling about Luke Van Ness this week?
He's a stud.
With Preston Smith being gone, go ahead.
Sorry, he's a stud.
Yeah. Oh, just because he's a Hawkeye. Yeah.
He's like the Greek Adonis. Hey, that guy. No, go ahead. What you're going to say? I'm sorry, I butted in there.
Well, I was going to say with Preston Smith being out, like Preston Smith now being traded to Pittsburgh, we saw a little bit of an uptick in week 8 for him, where he saw a few more snaps, and in week 9 he saw an uptick to 37 to 42% of snaps. Coming out of the bye week, who knows what's going to happen here with that rotation. He definitely sees an uptick here, but even with 4 teams on a bye, unless it's like a start 4 league, I don't know if I can trust rolling him out.
Yeah, he's a deep league play only, I think, this week until we see more. As much as I love him.
Because he's a Packer or because he was a former Hawkeye?
It's not because he's a Packer.
Okay. All right. I'm going to have to talk to Kyle about that, so we'll see. All right. MDH, starting Speed and Ernest right now. Would you replace one with Cashman or Bernard? Also a defensive tackle. Okay, so let's take care of the linebacker question here first for MDH. Speed, Ernest, Jones, would you pivot to Cashman or Bernard here, Eric?
I would keep Ernest in, but Speed, I would. Two good options there.
I know. I love me some Cashman this week.
Yeah, I was going to say Cashman's got the better. I like his matchup this week, so I'd put him in over Speed.
Yep. And then defensive tackle the rest of the way. He needs 2 of these. Madubuike, Quinnen Williams, and then Zach Zeiler. I got to go with the first 2, Madubuike and Quinnen. Seiler has just been all by himself. Like that whole line has been decimated. They traded away Wilkins before the season started to the Raiders, and he just hasn't been the same. I think teams are kind of keying in on him a little bit more than last year when he had a little bit more around him to take away some attention. So I'm going to go with the first 2 options there for you.
I agree. And I think they both, I've been waiting for Quinnen Williams to have his regression to the mean come back to start showing up on the stat sheet a little bit more. But you saw that from Madubuike last week. And I would go with those Quinnen Williams and Madubuike as well.
Yeah. CHB, how are we feeling about Brian Young and Khalil Mack this week? I'm feeling a lot better about Brian Young than I am Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack was kind of limited or didn't get in, did not practice all week long. He only played 4 snaps last week. Had a couple questions on him last week. I was kind of warning not to start him, especially in that late window game. Those are always kind of tricky places to be at, and kind of hopefully everyone kind of listened, because those 4 snaps probably didn't help a lot of teams win their league last week. So
Yeah.
Ryan Young was limited on Friday too, so that doesn't help his question anybody. He's probably in better position than Khalil Mack is, who didn't practice all week. So,
and they play New England, right? So
yep.
Yeah, I would go Byron Young over Khalil Mack for that very reason you said.
Is PS2 worth a start? Eric, do you know who PS2 is?
Is it Surtain? Is he number 2?
Preston Smith?
Or
Preston Smith?
Patrick Surtain? I don't know. I'm guessing it's Preston Smith. It's got to be, right?
Yeah. I like him a lot this week for Pittsburgh. He came in, got a sack last week. Alex Highsmith is out again for Pittsburgh. He's probably going to see kind of an uptick in snaps to kind of cover that loss. You know, Highsmith played 80% of snaps last week before getting his injury. Preston Smith played 36% of snaps. I'm going to guess that's going to be probably closer to 60% this week. Again, good matchup versus Baltimore. Probably not going to get the sack on Lamar Jackson, but going to be one of those decent games. So I think probably a DL3 for sure. DL2 maybe back inside for me.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on who you're starting him over always, but yeah, he's worth a start depending on who you got.
Perfect. Real Guru, good morning, gents. Good morning to you. Happy football. It's always a great day to get some football. He's got the Highsmith injury, which we just talked about, so he grabbed him big. Is he worth playing as a sub? Merci to you. Again, kind of depending on who you're pivoting to. Him big is coming off his own injury, so it's not like we have a week or two to see how he's been faring.
I think
maybe I'm a little skeptical of players coming off an injury. Maybe I'm probably too skeptical, but I'd rather not get bit by that. So,
yeah, I think, like you said, just the last question, Preston Smith gets the majority of those snaps anyway. So I think I would wait on him big.
We do like the him big.
Oh yeah.
SRM choosing 3, please. Cody Barton, TJ Edwards, Kenneth Murray, Omar Spates, Anthony Walker. I see 2 for sures here, and then some questions around the other 3. Edwards and Murray for sure for me because they're guaranteed snaps.
Yeah.
Omar Spates has played quite a bit more last week, and he kind of showed up in the stat column. Anthony Walker, probably if they didn't sign Terrell Dodson, but I don't know how many snaps he gets, if any, this week. If Dodson is ruled inactive, then it's probably Anthony Walker for me. But if not, I'm going to go with the 100% snap guy in Barton.
Yep.
Phil back needing 2. Okay, so we kind of answered that first part. Oh, now he gets a plethora of options here, needing 2 of these. So buckle up, Eric. We got 2 of between Calais Campbell, Ayla McNeil, Keanu Benton, Quincy Williams, Montez Sweat, DeMarcus Walker, Christian Ellis.
Well, Ellis, is he playing this week? Do we know if he's back healthy again after not playing?
Ellis had, what was my notes on him? He had a limited practice on Friday. The nice thing is that we do have early game window, so we kind of will know right away if he's in or out. Nice matchup versus the Rams.
Yeah. I think I'd play Quincy Williams of these. I don't want to play Sweat or Walker against the Packers offensive line. And Sweat didn't even hit 50%. No, he's coming off being banged up, but he didn't even play 50% last week. And he hasn't really done much this year. With Ellis's injury, maybe Williams and Campbell. I don't know. What do you think, Jeff?
I really want to find a way to get Ellis into my lineup if he plays. He plays that linebacker role, so he's kind of like that cheat code for us. I'm going to go Ellis and Quincy here, and then if Ellis is inactive, then I'm going to pivot to Campbell here. But
yep, I agree.
Ellis getting that linebacker looks, it's just that cheat code. You know, he's the defensive line label, but just playing that better productive role. And New England's defensive coordinator loves him. Like, he's obviously trying to get him on the field and stuff like that. So
I thought he played well as an Eagle last year when he did get an opportunity early in the year a little bit too, but then he hit the bench. But
agree. Rogu, that's totally fine. We love all questions, any and all, just like talking football. So worried about Mooney this week. Denver has a very low-key good defense. You know, he could be Patrick Surtain, could follow him very easily this week. They could bracket coverage Drake London. They're going to have to throw the ball again. So not knowing who you're pivoting to, Rogu. So maybe if you throw out some options there for us, and then scoring, if it's PPR or non-PPR, that would help us out a little bit. But yeah, there is definitely some reason for concern with Daryl Mooney this week. So Denver's a pretty good defense. Yep. B. Blair wants to know, picking two of these two linebackers, Alshire, Eric Kendricks, Jermaine Pratt, or Terrell Bernard.
That's another good set of linebackers. I'd go with Aziz for sure. Man, you probably almost put the other three in a hat and draw one. Maybe Bernard against the Chiefs. I'm kind of leaning towards Bernard against the Chiefs.
I like that call, especially with Kansas City's tendency to run the ball. You know, we saw every game so far, Kareem Hunt getting, 20, 25 looks. So he's going to be there. We see a lot of dump off passes. They've run a lot of plays. The only other play I could see here would be Eric Kendricks going up against the Texans. I think that they have, they're going to see a lot of Joe Mixon. Could probably see a lot of opportunity because game script, Texans could be up big late, just kind of running the ball out, salting away that fourth quarter. So Aziz Alshire for sure. And then I'm probably going to be looking at Kendricks here. So for me, Bernard is not a bad play. That's Eric's call too. So
if you want, I can try to switch back to my computer.
Oh man.
Got rid of that.
Got stereo Eric here.
App on my phone.
David's looking at Josh Dobbs or Downs. It's got to be Dobbs. With Anthony Richardson's coming back under center for the Colts, Downs just goes away for me.
Yeah, it's tough to know what to do with the Colts right now, other than sit and wait.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of a tough situation there. So we'll get all of David's questions here. Miles or Modal, Garrett or Max here. Two great options. Whew, that's tough. Who do you like, Mad Max or Miles Garrett this week?
Yes.
Twice on Sunday?
Yeah. Shoot.
You can't go wrong here. I mean, honestly.
Why am I blanking on who each one's playing?
Miles Garrett gets the Saints and Crosby gets the Dolphins.
I think because of snap share, I'd go Max.
I'm with you, but they're
It's
like
tough.
1A and 1B. There is no, yeah. I don't know how you pull that one off.
Willard has Garrett at the top. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. I don't know how you pull that off, David, but fantastic drafting, trading.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
that's just flexing. That's just defensive line flexing right there. Be a great opportunity. Maybe make a trade, try to help up one of your other positions if you're that solid at the position. Maybe look at rest of the season schedule and just kind of choose one and help your team out in another spot if you have that much depth there. So, JP, good morning, gentlemen. Please pick one between Christian Gonzalez, Carlton Davis. I think they're on a bye, aren't they? Isn't Tampa's on a bye? So unless there's another C. Davis out there, pick one defensive back, flex, Duggar if healthy, Elijah Hicks, Kobe Bryant, Bolton, TJ Watt. Okay, let's take this one at a time here. So we got to pick one cornerback. I'm going to pick Christian Gonzalez regardless if it's Carlton Davis or not. He's gonna match up against Denver's number one. He's gonna probably see a lot of opportunities, big play just waiting to happen. So Christian Gonzalez for me. Defensive back flex, Duggar, Hicks, or Kobe Bryant. I think Duggar here's the play, unless, like you mentioned, if he's ruled out again. Haven't seen anything on Duggar yet this week.
I haven't either. I mean, Duggar, if he's healthy.
Yeah. And then if he's not healthy, yeah.
Probably Hicks.
And I was gonna go opposite. I was gonna go Kobe Bryant, playing against San Francisco. Very efficient offense. So
yeah, actually,
if no Duggar, I'm gonna go Kobe.
Yeah. For some reason, I was thinking of the Kobe on the Rams, but
on the Lakers. So
yeah.
And then last one, picking the linebacker here between Bolton and TJ Watt. This one's really tough, JP, depending on your scoring. If it's sack heavy, I'm going to go TJ Watt all day. But if it's tackle heavy, I might have to lean to Bolton. TJ Watt's kind of dried up in the tackle department. But against Baltimore, this could be a big game when the stars come out.
Yeah, I agree. But when you talked about Gonzalez, I would agree with you, but they're playing the Rams and not the Broncos. So that's even better in my opinion.
Oh yeah. Then for sure he's going to see targets with Nakua and Cooper Kupp.
Yep.
So
yep.
Fantastic. So hopefully we got those questions, took care of that one, Dobbs and Downs. JP, we just helped answer out. That was the Mad Max question. So appreciate you. Thank you. Thanks, War Clouds, for being consistent on the show week in and week out, too. We appreciate those questions. Again, getting close to 200 for the day. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, retweet button, heart it, all the things. Who to start a flex? Travis Etienne, Douglas, or Amari Cooper? In a PPR, I'm easily starting Travis Etienne this week. Just guaranteed looks. No Tank Bigsby. We could see him getting 5-6 receptions out of the backfield alone, which is probably going to be what Douglas is going to see all day. So,
what was Cooper's practice status on Friday?
That is a great question. If you want to look that up, Eric, I'll get going on the next one here. Yep. This is the question. Thoughts about Jack Gibbons? I know, Drew, I burned us last week on this. I apologize. I thought Gibbons was a tough play, and he's proven me wrong. So I'm going to definitely keep Gibbons in this week. He's probably, done more than the Tennessee coaching staff has asked of him to do. So I think he's going to be a solid play rest of the season. Having said that, I'll probably get burned this week. This will be where Jerome Baker steps up and plays. But I think he's a solid LB2 this week and LB2 rest of the season. So probably not too many players ahead of him, especially with 4 teams on a bye. So he's definitely better than Kenneth Murray, in my opinion. So Phil's got another one here. So Phil is asking, needing 3 defensive backs: Branch, Darrell Savage, Gonzalez, based on the G. However, I still have on my bench Nixon, Whitehead, Molden, Taylor Rapp, and Cameron Curl. Oh, I like Branch. I like Gonzalez. I can't see Taylor Rapp getting in my lineup this week. He just hasn't been the guy that I thought he was going to be for Buffalo this year. Cameron Curl has been all sorts of messed up with his alignment. Savage, he's playing for Jacksonville. Gets a pretty decent matchup. It's going to be one of those on the field a lot, potential blowout, salting game away kind of deal. I can't. Can we not have Nixon in our lineup here, Eric?
Yeah, I was gonna say if it's kick return, punt return, I'm putting Nixon in over Savage.
Yeah. I can't not put Nixon in.
Rapp's usage has been improving the last couple of weeks, but I still want to wait on him. Curl, like you said, it's who knows what we're going to get from him this week.
Yep.
Molden's more deep. Yeah, I'd put Nixon in instead of Savage probably if it's kick return, punt return.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Phil. Curl has just been so tough as I just trying to want him, forcing him into my lineups, but the alignment and just hasn't been there. Half witty. Let's circle back here to his earlier question. Do we go away from Branch this week? So Half Witty had that question earlier. We were kind of saying that Branch is basically matchup proof at this point in our assessment. So he could go with Delpit, Lenore, Elijah Hicks, Tyrion Johnson, Brandon Jones, Quinton Lake, or Malik Mustafa.
All these players on his bench. Holy cow.
Yeah. I love 2-team leagues. They're kind of fun.
Good roster building, Jeff. He's built.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. I can't see any of those guys over Branch this week for me.
No, I agree.
Delpit's got the name value and recognition, but he just hasn't done it. He's got all the opportunities, does all the things, but he just doesn't show up in the stat sheet. He's like the Jonathan Grenard of defensive backs. Like, he does all the things right, just doesn't get it home. Yeah, I'm going Branch there, Half Witty. So, like Eric said, great job building your roster, being active on the waivers. Those are some fantastic ads throughout the season. Philip V, welcome back. Dorian Williams, Bernard, Cashman, Bolton, starting 2. I'm going to go with the 2 in the middle, Eric. Bernard and Cashman.
Yeah. That's what I was leaning towards also. I started to consider Bolton, even though that's weird for me, just because they're playing the Bills and the Bills have been running more. I think I'd still go Bernard and Cashman.
Yep. Good luck to you, Phil. Steven wants to know, should I drop Dorian Williams for Overshown? He's one of the 3 I might start.
Yep.
I love the move, especially now with the news of Matt Milano being activated from the IR from that bicep injury. So he's going to start ramping up here. We could probably see him maybe as early as next week. So this is your sell window on Dorian Williams if you're into that kind of thing. So,
yep.
Any linebacker or safeties to keep an eye on whose role might roll full-time going forward? Well, we just kind of mentioned Matt Milano is definitely a name to kind of monitor. As far as stashes go, you got anybody, Knight. Eric? Terrence, yeah, good call.
Tyrese Knight with Dodson leaving Seattle. See if Tyrese Knight's available. May not play 100%, but I bet he plays 70 to 80%. For Seattle, hopefully, and he played well last time he was out there with injuries earlier in the year. So that's one.
Can we go Drake Thomas too there in Seattle just in case, we don't see Tyrese Knight? Like I don't.
Of the two, I'd rather have Tyrese Knight. And
Agree.
I've been looking and picking him up where I can. Let's see.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with like David Long, because I know he's going to get dropped. He's going to get picked up by somebody here. Like if he gets lands in a team that really needs a linebacker just to kind of fill the void. Tampa Bay comes to mind.
The Rams,
next to the Rams. Yeah. 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 If they just need a plug and play kind of guy there. So they would probably be my two linebackers. Safety. It's the flavor of the week. Who are gonna spread some love on.
Battle. I'd keep an eye on Battle if his playing time does start to creep up more and he gets into that 80% range or so, then keep an eye on him.
Depending on like how deep or shallow your league is, we could probably see a world where, like maybe one of the Raiders, Isaiah Palomau, he might be a guy to kind of look at coming off their bye week. Someone might have dropped him. Easy guy to pick up. Cameron Kitchens with the Rams, maybe. Who knows what's going to happen? We just mentioned how the alignment there with Quentin Lake and why am I blanking all of a sudden on his name?
Cam Curl,
yeah. Kitchens has had some pretty decent plays for them, so he might have earned his way on the field a little more. Elijah Molden with the Chargers, so those would definitely be a couple names to kind of keep an eye on for me. So, and for Harry, and another thing to do too, and this is for all the listeners, if you're not following the IDP show on Twitter, if you're not going to the website, like literally every day of the week, something is dropping. We've got like experts at every position, defensive lineman with Scott, we got obviously Mike Wooler with the linebacker report, Johnny the Greek doing the cornerback streaming, stuff like that. So literally every day of the week, there's somebody dropping a video, an article of just a wealth of knowledge, just so do yourself a favor, head over there, like, subscribe, get the notifications going. Cause it is game changing really. And for $5 a month, if you want to become a member, like you just get all the exclusive information, it's definitely helps out a lot.
And I don't know if he's probably not listed as a safety very many places, but Cooper DeJean has had a really solid few weeks here lately.
Where did he go to school again? Where did he play college ball at, Eric? Oh, that's right. Okay. All right. Yeah.
He's a stud.
Oh,
he's better than Van Ness.
Okay.
Different positions.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thanks for the question, Harry. Those are good questions too. Those are just really good things to be thinking about, especially as you're heading into the playoffs and trying to solidify your team, like looking for those really good stashes. I was able to pick up TK Smith last week in a league. He was on the waivers, and he might be a league winner by the end of the season for Tampa in that secondary. So who knows?
Yeah, I'm surprised he was. Was it his injury that kept him on? Maybe put him back on the wire. He's another one to look for. TK Smith. Chamari Connor for the Chiefs in some leagues is listed as a safety I've seen. He's another one that's been getting some playing time.
Yeah, a lot of options for sure. So CHB helped us out here. It is Patrick Surtain, so that makes sense. Wearing the number 2, so yeah. Just kind of follow back up.
I would rather play Riley, not because he's a Hawkeye. I'd rather play Riley Moss over Surtain, just because teams are not gonna target Surtain much. He's a lockdown cover. He's great for the NFL, one of the top corners, but in IDP, it's tough to play him just because he's just not getting the targets. They're going to pepper McMillan and Riley Moss with targets.
Where'd Riley Moss go to school? He's
a Hawkeye too, but it's not because of that. I like McMillan a lot this week too. Atlanta plays some 11 personnel quite a bit, so McMillan could get quite a few targets this week too.
Good stuff. All right, so Sammy wants to know, needs 2 wide receivers here: Flex Pickens, Tyreek Hill, Metcalf, Sutton, Debo Samuel, and Tillman. Whew. Some fantastic options. Wow.
Yeah.
Pickens for sure. We beat Baltimore through the air. He's kind of had a resurgence with Russ Wilson under center. Love me some Debo this week, especially without possibly Kittle. That's an auto start, and then you get to flex one of these. Eric, you got Hill, Metcalf, Sutton, or Tillman.
I think Hill scares me right now. He hasn't been doing much, but as soon as you don't start him, he's going to go off.
Yep, and that's what I'm just waiting for, that big welcome back week. Now that Tua is back, another week that they've been able to practice. We saw a touchdown last week. I know they're talking a little bit about the wrist injury, but he's had it all season. I can't sit Hill. I can't.
I think you got to go for it, especially if he's your flex. And I mean, I'd go with Hill.
Good group there, Sam. Nice work. Demario Douglas or Dawdle, full PPR.
Yuck.
I'm going to have to go Dawdle just because of the running back's position. He's probably going to have a little bit higher floor. I don't think Zeke is even an option anymore. Like, he fumbled that goal line carry away last week.
Yeah.
I think they saw what they needed to see. I think this team is moved on from Zeke. So I love Demario Douglas, and I love that offense going forward, but I just haven't seen that Patriots wide receiver establish himself as Drake May's guy.
There's just too many there.
Yeah, the same guy.
Too many cooks in the kitchen there with the receivers. Seems like they're all about the same. You never know which week who's going to be targeted.
Yep. I did see that some rumblings of T. Higgins being their guy this offseason, so that would definitely be an alpha there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Wallbang, a little choo-choo train. That's not Thomas, but that's one of the other guys there. So looking at between sitting one, Zaire, Bernard, Aziz Al-Shahir, Speed, or Cashman. I think we had a similar question like this. I'm going to sit Speed just because of the knee injury, and the other guys have just fantastic matchups.
Yep, I agree.
Julia, good morning. Ramondre Stevenson or Evan Ingram full PPR? I can't not have the running back here that's getting all the looks. Patriots have been a much better offense with Drake May under center.
Ingram's getting a lot of looks too.
But he's getting them this week from not Trevor Lawrence. He's getting them from
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones and his 45 snaps last week.
Yeah. It's a tough one for me. I'll lean with Stevenson too. It's tough.
All right. J.W. Wagner wants to know which of these three linebackers, Bernard, Ernest Jones, Gibbons, or Spillane?
That's an embarrassment of riches right now too. Beginning of the season, you might not have said that about Gibbons, but man, he's been playing lights out.
Yep.
Spillane for sure. Jones for sure. It comes down to Gibbons or Bernard for me, and it's close. Might depend on if it's a tackle heavy or big play heavy league. If it's tackle heavy, I'd go Gibbons. Big play, I'd lean towards Bernard. What do you think about that, Jeff?
No, I'm with you. I think, I'm going to have to stick. Gibbons is probably the sit there for me.
Yeah, it's close.
Other guys have, So Jason's back with a cornerback question here. Two corners, Lake Nixon or Kenny Moore. So Kenny Moore's got the matchup versus the Jets. Keyshawn Nixon's got the matchup versus the Bears. And Quentin Lake has the matchup versus New England. So
Kenny Moore's great because he plays slot, but he doesn't come off the field when they don't have 11 personnel out there. He stays on the field, like we talked about Lenore earlier. The same way right now with Ward being out, but I want to start more, and then it becomes between Nixon and Lake. If it's kick return, punt return, I would lean Nixon. If not, I'd go to Lake.
I like that. Yep. And that's why I'm sitting to Kenny Moore for sure. And then if it's a kick return, punt return, we're going to go with Nixon. If not, just going to be Lake. Jay Colhagen needs to start. Sit
this is
one.
going to be a good one.
Yep. Jake the Snake. Sit one. Gibbons, Spillane, Alshire, TJ Edwards, and Zaire Franklin.
Again, is this a two-team league? This is a two-team league.
Yeah. This is the family league that he's in at home. So him
Sad
and his daughters
are
in this league.
It's his daughter's team. It's not even his.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, Jake.
His daughters found his daughters found Mike's preseason rankings and drafted the team. So
I think
I'm going to sit Alshire in this one. I think.
Really, I was leaning towards Gibbons. That's tough.
I just Alshire going up against the Cowboys in this one. I just hedge my bets here a little bit with them. Gibbons had he had 19 tackles last weekend or something stupid like that. He was in on 19 tackles. Gets a pretty decent matchup this week versus Minnesota, who's probably going to run the ball a lot. Sam Darnold is turning back into Sam Darnold, so the offensive coordinator is probably going to try to save and protect him as much as he can. So for that reason, give me Jack Gibbons over Alshire.
It's tough. I'll be like Snoop Dogg and say, I don't have to choose if you watch The Voice.
But you have to choose, Eric. That's our job.
I don't think Gibbons is going to get that many tackles. He's going to do good. Don't get me wrong, but these are all good players. I think I would sit Gibbons.
All right. So who do you love more, Jake? Gibbons going to sit or Alshire? So you don't have to tell us. We'll just know. Or PPR League, Taysom Hill or Tucker Kraft, Ladd McConkey or Cedric the Entertainer this week. So I'm going to have to go Taysom Hill just with the limited options the Saints have on offense over Tucker Kraft.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
Okay, and then Ladd McConkey or Cedric the Entertainer.
PPR, I'm going to go McConkey.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If I need a lot of points here, Herb, I'm going to go Cedric Tillman just because he's going to, he's going to go 5 for 70 with a touch. McConkey might have 8 for 80 with no touchdowns. So I'm going to go that route. So best of luck to you, Herb. Ryan Need one already played Bond. Congratulations on that. He had a great night on Thursday night. Need Campbell, Bernard, or Henley. So
Henley for me.
I was going to say, yep.
The way he's been playing and getting 100% of snaps, it's wheels up for Henley to me.
Yep. Agree. Do we like Evan Williams over Rapp and Newbin rest of season? Great story for the Packers. They've got all of a sudden they went from one of the worst defensive back rooms last season to probably one of the best positions they have on the team right now. I love Newbin though. The rest of the season, he's just so consistent for tackle. His tackle floor is so high. I can't not go Newbin the rest of the season.
I could see over Rapp, but not Newbin. And Evan Williams, that question earlier about safeties, maybe he's still out on the waiver wire potentially. I doubt it, but he could be. It's worth a look.
Coming off their bye, he was a little dinged up in the game before.
Yep.
Could have had, somebody maybe have to make a tough roster decision. So I like that. Good morning, Clint. Thanks for coming back on. He needs us to pick one of these defensive linemen, Matabike, Quinnen Williams, or Keon White at his interior lineman position.
I think I lean White here just because he plays a mix of inside and outside, gets a high snap count. Yeah, it's tough to sit the other two.
Yeah. I almost going to have to go Matt BK with the great matchup versus Pittsburgh. They've just been bleeding points, 25 tackles a game over the last 3 games at the position. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Matt BK in this one.
The Rams defensive line has got a couple of players back here recently, which has helped a little bit. So, yeah, I could go with Madubuike too.
Okay. Well, don't do it on my expense. So,
it's tough between those two.
Need 4 of these 5: CeeDee Lamb, Zay Flowers, Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, or Nick Chubb. Devontae Adams has me a little worried about his status going into the game. He'll probably play, but he has not been the Devontae Adams we all knew him to be. Expected to play. He's got an illness. He's got a wrist injury. He has 1 game in the last, since week 4. He hasn't played in 3 of them, but 1 game in the last 3, he's double-digit points.
We're basically sitting 1 here, right? Playing the rest.
Correct. DeAndre Hopkins, on the other hand, is kind of the same.
CeeDee Lamb is banged up.
Yep.
What are their game times? It might just depend on who's suiting up.
Well, CeeDee Lamb's tomorrow night.
Yeah. I think I would.
Hopkins is tonight or late window. I'm sitting Devontae Adams here in this one. Coming off of hasn't been scoring well. Illness, wrist injury, questionable going into the week. I like the floor plays of the other guys. Nick Chubb, this could be his week going up against the Saints.
Yeah, it's a good matchup for him. I like Chubb and Flowers for sure.
Yep.
Trying to decide with it's hard to sit CeeDee as long as his back's okay by tomorrow night. Yeah, I could agree with that, Jeff. Devontae Adams sitting. I'm tempted to play Adams and then see what happens with Hopkins and Lamb to have if one or if Hopkins ends up. I think Hopkins is going to play though, isn't he?
You mean CD? Devontae Adams?
No, I was just thinking the Hopkins is late window. He's healthy, so.
Yep.
I'd sit Devontae Adams.
Oh, so yeah. Yep. Good luck to you, Andrea. Rogaru, thanks, fellas. Preston and Jesh Paschal available on the waiver. Is it worth dropping him big? I'm stuck without Clancy, Aziz Olshire, or Will Anderson this week. Ooh. I like Preston Smith probably more than him big this week. And it looks like you're going to have your options back next week with Anderson and Cansey. So I don't know if, for a 1-week Band-Aid, Preston Smith is probably your answer.
Yeah. If it's a dynasty, it's hard to get rid of him big, but I would agree with you, Jeff, and start Preston Smith over him big.
Drew, rest of the season, I just extended him to $2 million, 2 years. A great way to get player on talent, like behind Murray. Oh, yep. Must have been talking about Jack Gibbons there. So, yeah, we'll see what kind of happens there with him rest of the season, what they do in the offseason. They made a lot of moves in that linebacker room in Tennessee this year for sure. So we'll kind of see. So, Luca, would you start? Hope he plays the same role as last week, or Xavier McKinney. Caleb not throwing interceptions recently. This is a tough one just because I'm not really sure of Hugo's role. With Kool-Aid McKinstry coming back this week, that could have been a 1 week anomaly, and then he could be sent to the bench. We saw the same thing with Richardson in Carolina. He was scoring well for 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden guys got healthy and came back in, and he played 4 snaps and got 0 points for some managers that started the Carolina safety. I'm going to take Xavier McKinney here. Divisional game. Caleb's gonna throw another one here this week. So
I don't have it up anymore. Should have been looking at this. I was curious where the Bears were for safeties. McKinney doesn't get a lot of tackles. He's been kind of big play dependent this year. The Bears don't give up a lot of tackles to safeties. I think it was 11 or 12 a game. I still think Ugo plays the slot corner there for the Saints this week.
And they are playing the Browns, so Winston's going to have just as much of a chance to throw up a dub, throw up some interceptions. So yeah, I think maybe
it's a tough one. I mean, it's hard to sit McKinney, but it's a tough one. Like you said, if Kinchins comes back and they change their roles all around again, McKinney's probably the safer play.
Yep.
And he might
maybe
have
that's
the
route.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the route we take. We take, we go the McKinney route. If you need a safe high floor play and if you need a home run, go.
Yeah. McKinney could be a home run too with those interceptions. It's just we'll see. I guess
that's true.
It's hard to. Yeah, I'd maybe lean McKinney, I guess, after talking all the way through that. But.
All right, we're half witty with you. Kind of responded back. He had all those guys that were waiver wire options, and so those are all on the waiver. So yeah, definitely a league where you're gonna have options there. With my question about TJ Watt, Nick Bolton, their scoring is 6 points for a sack, 2 points for a solo tackle, and 1 for an assist. So that kind of levels the playing field a little bit there for with TJ Watt. But is Lamar Jackson going to be the guy that he's going to be able to get the sack on? That is the question there. So,
yeah, I think I'd still lean Bolton because 2 points for a solo is still pretty decent too. This is one of those safe versus you need a boom.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna. Yep. Yeah, let's go.
6 points for a sack is
nice.
If
you need a home run play.
I wonder if he gets points for a QB hit and all that's due, or if it's just the sack and the tackle. It's an 8-point play right there. Yeah. I think the safer play is Bolton and the high upside play is Watt.
Yeah. So yeah, I think you nailed it there. Safe play versus high floor play there. So Chin finally is comfortable in Dan Quinn's system. 3 big games. What has been the usage like? Is he I definitely think he's a top 12 safety going forward. I think that he's kind of playing that hybrid linebacker role for them. Wagner has been fantastic, but he's getting older. Luvu is definitely in that Michael Parsons down lineman rushing role all the time. I definitely think that he's definitely the guy there to roster. 100% of snaps in the last 3 games. I can't see him not being a top 12 rest of the way.
Yep. Not going to argue with you on that.
Okay. Roguru wants to know clarification: Mooney or Christian Watson, McConkey or Brian Thomas Jr. He had a question earlier about worried about Mooney. I can't see Christian Watson. He's kind of boomer bust. Brian Thomas Jr. with Mac Jones under center, not there. Do we pivot to McConkey this week? Eric, what are your thoughts? Mooney or McConkey?
It's kind of a toss-up one to me too. Mooney's played so well this year.
Yeah. I'm going McConkey pretty confidently, actually.
Yeah. I think it depends on. I mean, that Riley Moss can really cover people too. But depends on if Surtain is moving. It depends on what side of the field they line up on, or if he's following Drake London, and if Mooney gets Moss the whole time, or what happens there. But yeah, I would lean McConkey.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to go.
He's going to get peppered with targets this week.
Halfwitty wants to know Zach Allen or Tuli Tulupu.
I like both. I might lean Tuli with. I mean, Bosa's been banged up. He played maybe 40% last week, and Khalil Mack is banged up. I think Tuli gets a healthy snap share this weekend and has a bad matchup on top of it. So, or wait, am I thinking of that wrong?
Yeah, they legit have the worst matchup against the Bengals this week.
Right.
As far as points go.
Yeah.
Zach Allen has just been playing an obscene amount of snaps. It would be really tough to bench him.
He's been up around 85, 90% too, hasn't he?
Yeah. I'm going to go with Zach Allen here.
Yeah. I agree with that. I was thinking Tuli had a better matchup than that.
Yeah.
He even said right in there, bad matchup.
Yeah. Roguru, that was a 1-point PPR. That makes McConkey even safer for us. Thank you, Philip, for the thumbs up. We like and appreciate that. Again, hit that like, subscribe, retweet, everything. Light them all up. Cody Barton, Demario Davis, or Julian Blackman this week. Need to drop one.
I'm dropping Blackman.
Yep.
Keeping my linebackers, dropping the safety. Yep.
Much easier to replace that position. Bolton or Overshone this week?
I'm Overshone on this one.
I am as well. Probably by 5 or 6 spots too for me. So that is a fantastic question about the defensive backs in Dallas. Kalen Carson, did he get banged up again? Is he not in there?
He was playing last week.
Yeah. Jordan Lewis played. Did he get banged up? Jordan Lewis is out. Yeah, Darren, I would suggest head over to the IDPshow.com and then click on Johnny the Greek cornering the cornerback market, and then look for a streaming option there. He would be your best bet. The article is fantastic. It lays out some ideal matchups and things like that. That would be the ideal place to go, especially like you said, if you're injury ravaged at the position. Johnny's got you covered over there. He would do you way more justice than we could answer at the position. So
Carson was a full participant in practice.
Yeah. So I would have a tough time starting.
Yeah.
Makuma there, but like I mentioned, head over Johnny the Greek's cornering the cornerback market. Great article, very easy to read and follow. He's got everything outlined, reasons why, and he's got an obscene like over 70%, 80% hit rate on his projection. So definitely someone you're going to want to follow, especially if you're in that cornerback required league. IDP Doctor, good morning. Thinking Van Ness is going to step up here with Preston Smith gone and Green Bay coming out of the bye. We kind of mentioned it a little earlier. We kind of feel the same way. Van Ness is probably a deeper league option for us. Probably a DL 3-4 this week during the bye. But hopefully we see some increase in snaps here. I think that was kind of the reason for the Preston Smith trade in the first place. It's just they got some young guys that are kind of being held back there. So good stash right now. One spot, DJ Moore, Ricky Pearsall, Worthy, Juju, or MVS. So
not playing
Yeah.
Worthy.
Nope.
DJ Moore, is he happier now with the OC gone, and is he going to try a little harder? Is he rather than just walk off, finish plays instead of walking off onto the sideline? I would hope that he's happier now.
He can't be sadder, right? Like
no, you got the injuries in San Fran, so Pearsall's tempting there.
I got to go DJ Moore.
Yeah. I'm hoping he's happy now, and the real DJ Moore will reappear.
Yeah. Got a super chat here from Roy. Wants to get a question. Dorian Williams or TJ Edwards, Overshown or Quincy Williams. So looking at, looks like 2 linebacker questions, or just
might be 2 different leagues or something potentially.
2 different leagues. There you go. Yeah, I'm going to go TJ Edwards pretty easily, confidently in that first one.
Yep, I 100% agree with that. I'm going over.
And the second one is really, really close for me. I'm going to go Overshown in a better matchup versus Quincy Williams, really poor matchup for the Colts. So TJ Edwards and Overshown for me. So
perfect.
And thank you, Roy, for the super chat. We appreciate that immensely. Nice. Very generous of you to do that. So, all right, let's get back on with our questions where we were at here.
I will, while you're doing that, I will mention, we talked earlier, Roy, about Overshown's bursitis in his knee. I'm not worried about it. I'm not a doctor, but I have had bursitis. They'll just give him a shot and he'll be fine.
Did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. So
yeah, I did.
All right, so there's that one. Okay, back on track here. Here we go. Start 3 and scoring format with big rewards, big plays. Nick Cross, Marlon Humphrey, Jalen Petrie, Alante Taylor, or Derwin James. So Nick Cross for sure. Super consistent.
I'm staying away from Alante Taylor for now, that he's been moved outside for the time being. We talked about James earlier. I think I would start James here with Nick Cross. I like how they've been using him here recently with the extra safety playing and playing a little bit more deep between Molden and Loie Gilman. And Derwin's been free to play up closer to line of scrimmage. So to me, it's James and Nick Cross.
Yep. No, I'm with you there. Cross and James were easy ones for me. Yeah. Yep. Agree. Good luck to you, Will. Appreciate that. MDH final one. Need one of Cashman, Bernard, Kendrick, Overshown, tackle heavy. I appreciate the show. Always great info. Appreciate that. Thank you for saying those things. Wow. Good matchups here. I got to go Cashman.
Yeah. I don't think you can really go wrong with any of these guys. Just need one. I might lean Bernard slightly, but yeah, it's tough. I'd probably lean Bernard. Bernard or Cashman, probably top 2 options.
Okay. Yeah, Kendrick and Overshown are definite thirds for me in this one. I've got Cashman and Bernard almost back to back in my rankings this week, so I can't fault you either way on that one. 1 DL for the week: Montez Sweat, Jerry Simmons, AJ Epinesa, Hubbard, or Braden Fisk.
This is an interesting one. I'm not playing Sweat right now if I can avoid it.
Agree.
I like Fisk's matchup a lot. The Patriots have not been good on the offensive line. However, Drake May is also good at escaping the pressure. Hubbard hasn't I don't know what's going on with Hubbard. He hasn't even been getting the snaps really. I think I got to go Simmons here. Jeffrey Simmons.
That's where I was leaning to. Good matchup versus the Vikings. Like we mentioned, they're probably going to be running the ball more than in recent weeks, trying to keep Sam Darnold away from being Sam Darnold. So I like that call. And I don't usually like playing an interior play when I got some options on the outside, but Hubbard just isn't the guy in Cincinnati I want to be starting. And Rousseau has definitely been the guy.
I'm worried Epinessa's going to lose more snaps to Von Miller again this week as he's working his way back. It's hard to play him right now.
Fantasy Breakout's got a couple questions here. First one up for him is a defensive back question. Riley Moss, Trevian Morig, Brandon Jones, or Amani Hooker at Morig for me.
Yep. That one stood out to me as well.
Yeah, he's got a great matchup. High tackle floor. Definitely going to go there. Fantasy Breakout's linebacker question is playing speed or due to a bad matchup, do you want to go with Sherwood, Overshone, or a Falcons linebacker? So
Sherwood also has a bad matchup.
He does.
Probably go
I don't know that I want to start Caden Ellis.
Yeah, I'd go Overshone
or
on this one.
Landman. You going to go Overshone?
I would, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. Does Speed find a way to get it done?
Maybe.
Okay. Between the bad matchup and the knee, Overshone is the play here.
I think so. What do you think?
I very biased with Speed. We've seen in really bad matchups, and even with Franklin there, he's able to get it done. The knee, a little worrisome, but he did have full practice on Friday. I love Sherwood going again. I'm talking myself into Sherwood.
They just took the questionable tag off him too. He's healthy.
Okay.
On the
I'm gonna go Sherwood. I think that going up against the Colts, they're gonna run between Jonathan Taylor and Richardson. I'm gonna go Sherwood here. That's great that we have different opinions, because I don't want to have group think mentality, because otherwise, I think, we're not doing our listeners any justice. So
I think I'm still sticking to Overshone.
Overshone? Okay. So I'm going to go going Overshone.
Maybe it's the Khalil Mack thing that burned me last week when I started him when he was listed to play and then ended up being hurt. But anyway.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Darren's calling out Jake, and he's asking for advice now from you, Eric. So
I know Darren. So
yeah. Jake followed up with a follow laughing face. That's fantastic. Yeah. Love to see that in chat. Keon White or Kobe Turner for you this week? I think it's going to be Kobe White or Keon White pretty easily for me.
Yeah. Yep. That's tough.
Is
it's
Montez
a little tougher for me, but
yeah. I think Montez Sweat will be out there on the field. I don't think that he's definitely 100%. And Packers have a really good offensive line, so I don't know if he's a solid play this week either way. So
yeah, he played I think 47, if I remember right, percent of the snaps last week. Somewhere around there, 45, 46. It wasn't even 50%. Maybe he ramps up a little bit more this week, but I'm just doing a wait and see when they're playing the Packers.
Yep. Van Ginkel, Grenard, Zach Allen, or Matabike this week. I like Van Ginkel this week. I think that matchup, he's been getting it done. So he's going to be my play this week at the position.
There's some really great options here again.
Yep.
Yeah. I like we've talked about, we usually go for the edge guys if we can. And it's between Van Ginkel and Grenard for me. I know Grenard didn't have a great week last week with counting stats, but he still had the pressure. Yeah, I go Van Ginkel. I think Grenard forces the quarterback into Van Ginkel this week.
There you go. Teammates helping teammates. So,
Yeah.
All right, Eric, we're going to speed along here. We're going to try to get through these questions, get caught up here. We're closing in on the 2-hour window. We're going to get the inactives here sooner than later. So Josh wants to know, good morning. Hope all is well. News of Kyle Hamilton. He's wheels up for us. No injury designation, so he's good to go. Estimate or Elijah Moore as your PPR. Not going to get any PPR points out of Estimate, but he did get tote the rock a lot last week. I'm going to go the running back here over the wide receiver.
Yep.
Julie wants to know Lenore, who just signed a big contract, or Marlon Humphrey this week.
I like them both, but I think I lean Lenore.
I do too. I think that
with
Seattle
Ward. With Ward still out, Lenore. I think Ward's still out. Lenore has 100% of snaps and plays a lot of slot within them. So.
Yeah, and I think with Seattle getting DK Metcalf back, I think that just improves that offense. They're going to be out there a little bit more. So,
yep.
Love you. Thanks, Jake. Appreciate you as always. Jake. Hope you had a great vacay. Get back ready to roll. You didn't start a guy after 10 tackle week the week before. Just saying.
You don't sit a guy after 10 tackle. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. He's talking about Jack Gibbons because we were on, and that was the big Nick Bolton and Jack Gibbons was the question, and I was still on the fence about thinking that Jerome Baker was going to be back last week. So sorry, Drew. So Brandon Jones, Derwin James, or Minkah Fitzpatrick?
Derwin James. I don't even have. I like Brandon Jones. He's playing a little bit more deep lately here. So, and Minkah plays a little more deep. So I'm going Derwin James.
And I'm gonna go to Brandon Jones just because of the matchup versus the Falcons. I think that's best matchup, especially the last 3 weeks for opposing secondary players. And Brandon Jones has been that guy all season. So I'm going to take him over Derwin James this week, as crazy as that sounds. Tulu Keon White, 8 points per sack. So we mentioned that Khalil Mack is probably not going to play. So does that change your tune here a little bit on the matchup with Keon White or Tulu here?
I think I still go Keon. As we talked about earlier, Tulu's got the Bengals.
Yep. Ugly matchup.
Keon's got the Rams.
Hunter Henry or Knox at tight end.
Is Kincaid healthy?
No, he's out.
So
no Keon Coleman. Possibly no Amari Cooper. So they got Khalil Shakir and Dalton Knox here. I think Knox, just because he's going to be the de facto spot here, and again that they're going to have to throw to keep up with Kansas City.
I think I'm going to lean Hunter, but it's close for me. I think you're fine either way. You're going to start one, and the other one's going to go off, and you're going to hate yourself, or they both go off. Who knows?
Just hate us. That's all. That's easy.
Yeah, just hate us. Yeah. Well, we picked one of each, so we can't.
Yep. Half point PPR, Gesicki or Taysom Hill. I'm going to go Taysom Hill just with the guaranteed touches in this game, whether it's a running back, a receiver. Go that route. You're most welcome, Ryan. Thank you for all your questions each and every week. Lou 32. Good morning, gents. I'm 4-6 in my standard Superflex league. At quarterback, I have Jaden Daniels, Richardson, and May. They all have a week 14 bye. Which quarterback should I move? Pretty easy for me, Richardson, if you can.
If you can get anything for him, yeah, that's who I would move as well.
Yeah. You were all in on the rookie quarterback this week, so. Yep.
But keep Daniels for sure, and see who you get for the other two. If it's worth, whatever you get the better trade offer for. Not saying it's equal. What makes the most sense, I guess, is what I'm.
I really
like Richardson. I'd rather keep May if you can get rid of Richardson.
Yep. Half point PPR flex estimate: Demario Douglas, Gesicki, Taysom Hill, or Jalen Warren.
It's the Demario Douglas week this week. Pop Douglas week.
Yeah, yep, it is. I'm gonna go with Jalen Warren here.
Yeah, agreed.
You are most welcome, sir. Best of luck to you in week 11. Ryan needs 2 of these: Metcalf, Shakir, Quentin Johnson, Calvin Ridley, half-point PPR. Ridley has just been blowing up lately now that DeAndre Hopkins is gone. Khalil Shakir, we just mentioned, is going to be a target monster this week with the injuries to Kincaid, Keon Coleman. I'm gonna go with those 2.5-point PPR, Ridley and Shakir.
Not Metcalf?
Too many mouths to feed in Seattle with he'll probably get a couple big plays, but you got Lockett there. You have Jackson Smith-Njigba coming off his best game as a pro. You still have Walker in the backfield. So,
yeah, half-point PPR. I think I'm going Metcalf and Shakir. I'm anti-Ridley.
Yep. So Shakir for sure. Can't trust Ridley. I don't blame you. Just got to have some more mayonnaise and bananas. That's all you need there.
Yeah. I'm more anti. Yeah. The quarterback is the problem for me. Anyway.
Yeah. Yep. Luca got 2 of these: Tulu, Zach Allen, Montez Sweat, Rousseau, Mafe, and Van Ness. Really good choices here. Eric, do you have one that jumps off to you? I like Boye Mafe. Whew.
Yeah.
Playing against San Francisco.
That's tough. Rousseau's up against the Chiefs, which Mahomes has actually been sacked a few times here recently. He's usually really good at getting out of that.
All right, well, let's go the other way. I'm peeling off Tulu with the matchup.
Yeah.
I don't like Van Ness yet because there's too many question marks. We don't like Sweat. So then it's down between Zach Allen, Rousseau, and Mafe.
I think it's Zach Allen and one of the 2 edges, probably.
Rousseau's been playing really, really well. Zach Allen's got kind of a not so fun matchup with the Falcons.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the 2 edges.
As we said, as we've been saying, go edges over inside when you can, if it makes sense. So I'm on board with that.
Perfect. Hey, it's the day of the guest host coming on here. So Scott, long-time listener, first-time caller. You guys are dorks. That's what you guys are. Very deep league. Jordan Hicks, Devondre Campbell. I got to go Hicks here.
Yuck.
With no JOK there. The defensive coordinator in Cleveland has wanted Hicks to be the guy all season. He just hasn't been healthy enough to do it. Campbell is just kind of always playing second fiddle to Warner there. So
it's not a great matchup either for Campbell. So yeah, it's Hicks for me.
Good luck to you, Scott. Appreciate it. Kyle Hamilton, Terrion Johnson, choose one at DB. 2 really good matchups, Lou here. I don't think you can go wrong with either one, but I can't not play Kyle Hamilton.
Agreed.
Good morning to Roy. Thank you again for that super chat. We appreciate that. As always, Rogaru needs 2: Alante Taylor, Patrick Surtain, Uga Amanda, or Jalen Johnson. I'm going to go with the last 2. Pretty easy in my opinion. Jalen Johnson's been having a great season for the Colts. Amanda. Good morning, Antonio. How are you doing this morning? Workout, Jalen Reed or Dobbins, full PPR. I'm gonna go Jaden Reed this week against the Bears. We saw Gus the Bus come back, kind of took a little shine off of Dobbins touches there. So I'm gonna go Jaden Reed this week.
I'm just gonna keep agreeing, Jeff.
Well, don't. I don't like it when you agree.
Only when I agree. Well, you.
Oh, okay. Only when you agree. All right.
You've got it.
Okay. Antonio wants to go Terrion Johnson over Delpit. I think Delpit is high floor, but yeah, I agree. This is a Terrion Johnson week. Wheels up. Good matchup. The snap alignment's been fantastic. There's no reason that it's not going to be a great week for him. And we mentioned Delpit's got that safe floor, but he just hasn't had that week we want Delpit to have. Rogaru needs 4 linebackers here: Alshire, Caden Ellis, Landry, Trent Simpson, Ty Dodson. Can I drop 2020? I think you can drop 2020. Landry is the one that's weird in there for me.
Yep. I was going to say Landry got tucked in as a linebacker in this league, and that's your boom bust type player. I would play the other 4 as long as Dotson is active.
Yep. Agree. Metabike, Granderson, leaning towards Granderson. Granderson has just been gross this season.
Yeah. He's had regression this year from last year's play. I think I lean Madubuike.
I'm going to stick Madubuike. Yeah. Yep. I hate playing the interior guy over the outside guy, but in this case, between matchup and performance, I'm just going to lean Madubuike here. Last one, Mike Williams or Josh Downs. I'm going Mike Williams. Just Downs just can't trust him with AR under center.
Yeah. Only thing with Downs is I think he returns kicks too. So if it's a kick return, punt return league, maybe. But yeah, I could see Williams.
So Drew's giving me a little love here this morning. He was question last week was Bolton or Jack Gibbons, and I went with Bolton. So thankfully in his league scoring, Bolton scored the same, even though Gibbons had just a plethora of tackles. So we appreciate that. Thanks, Drew. Best of luck to you here in week 11.
Yeah,
Make sure we'll
Drew.
see you back here in week 12.
I do want to go back if Richardson just doesn't throw much. He just doesn't throw much. I was going to say if it was PPR, I might consider Downs because it's more of a big play. But I think even the big plays are going to outweigh Downs's receptions. Richardson just, what's the average, 9 or 10 completions a game? It's just not enough.
Yeah, and when you're thinking big play for the Colts, it's been Alec Pierce has been the big play recipient.
I'm saying Mike Williams having the big play versus Downs being a more PPR type guy. And I agree with Mike Williams.
Yeah, I think another week in the system, Pickens is going to draw the attention, I think, a little bit more. So, and they're going to have to, and like we mentioned before, you beat Baltimore through the air. So that's the way to go. So, Anthony Jennings or Zach Allen this week, tackle and assist heavy, even scoring so far with Jennings missing a game and Allen's goose egg last week. I think Anthony Jennings is the play here.
Yeah, he had what 90% of snaps or something like that last week.
That was something gross.
He's going to be on the field. So, well, they both are, but he's on the outside. I think I'd go with Jennings as well.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. I'm in 2 IDP leagues. Brandon Jones, Derwin James, Kevin Byard, or Derwin James. So, Eric, you are Derwin James all in.
Yep.
I am Derwin James for sure over Byard. And I'm still Brandon Jones. I'm a truther there. I love him, his role there. I think it's a decent matchup. Derwin James versus the Bengals.
Yeah, Locke has started taking a little. Well, they're kind of splitting the sweet spot snaps.
Yep.
Where they're both getting some of them.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Brandon Jones and Derwin James in here, and then Derwin James. So Roy, if you're like our friend Jace Abbey, who is a Derwin James fan, if you just want to rock the jersey all day and pull for him in both leagues, do that. If you want to hedge your bets a little bit, you can go with little Brandon Jones and go that route. So yeah, thank you very much for that great compliment, Rogru. We appreciate that. Hang it in the Louvre, that one. So appreciate that very much. Thanks for shouting out the show and shouting out the website there. Drew's got MVS, Booty, or Xavier Hutchinson's pick 2. Bad flex.
MVS stands out to me right away. I think you got to play him.
Yep. And I like Booty. For whatever reason, he's been getting an increased number of snaps. He played 97% of snaps last week, 95 the week before for New England. So clearly he's the wide receiver who is ascending. We talked about no one really sticking out between Polk and Demario Douglas. They just cut Thornton this week. So I'm all in on Booty. So,
and Hutch has Nico to contend with again now this week too. So,
yep. So MVS and Booty. So good luck to you, Drew. Justice Hill as well. Just an option. Yeah, I can't not. Yeah, we're gonna go with the 2 wide receivers there, I think. So good luck to you, Drew. Kaiser, I have Trenton Simpson, Diabate, and Knight for 1 spot. Who should I start? Trenton Simpson for me. I think he's the most guaranteed one here for looks. Diabate's got Hicks coming back. We don't know with Knight's role for sure. He was only playing 70-80% when he was the starting linebacker there. Want to see some game tape without Dodson there before I make a decision. And Trenton Simpson has been an ascending player all season for Baltimore.
Yep, I agree.
Drew, Caden, Christian Ellis, or Tyrese Knight. So back-to-back Knight questions here.
Depends if Ellis is healthy.
Yep.
Is that an early game?
We're going to know because they got the early game, and we should be getting some inactives here already. So we'll probably be hearing about some inactives. I like Knight probably more so from an alignment standpoint. So if both are healthy, I think I'm going to gamble here on Knight. I know in the previous question we just had talked about, kind of hedging your bet, not knowing what is going to happen really with that Seattle defense. But I think here with just the position alignment, I'm going to take Knight over Ellis here just because for that reason. So
the same is kind of true with Ellis, even if he's healthy with Tavai there too.
Yep.
Not really sure how they're going to split the snaps this week. How healthy is Ellis if he does play?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Knight.
All right. Jack or Lucas wants to know between Jack Campbell and 2020. I'm easily Jack Campbell for me.
Yep.
Yeah. Good luck to you, Lucas. Or Dodson in Miami. Yeah, we can't trust Dodson quite yet. Not really sure where he's going to be aligned, if he's going to play, if he's even active. Jack Campbell's been 100%. We're gonna ride the hot Jack Campbell train there. So Antonio had a follow-up to you with your comment about Downs it is a PPR league, so he's still being targeted a lot with Richardson, but he's targeted, but those haven't really translated into receptions for me. So he wants to know Mike Williams or Josh Downs. I'm leaning Mike Williams. I think that's a shootout game with Baltimore this week. I think Mike Williams finds a way to get in the end zone again. I'm going to Mike Williams.
Yeah, I agree. I think it depends on, do you think Mike Williams is going to get the deep downhill pass? And I think he probably gets at least 1 or 2 this week.
Yep.
It's how it's split between him and Pickens,
Yep. Last one here. Jared got a question. Tulu or Grover Stewart for a defensive line. And here we go back to our classic interior versus edge player question. I'm probably going to lean Tulu here, even in a really gross matchup. I just think that edge position is much more enticing to me than that interior play against the Jets.
Yeah. Duggar and Christian Ellis are both active this week. So
okay. So does that change Drew's question about Christian Ellis overnight?
I still don't trust the snap count any more than Tyrese Knight, and I love Seattle's defense for linebackers, so I'm going to go Tyrese Knight there still, I think.
Yeah, in a great matchup versus San Francisco, I think he sees a lot of Christian McCaffrey. So, yeah, Knight for me there. And then, Eric, what are your thoughts on this last one here with Jared's thought on Grover, Stewart, or Tulupu?
I think I'd go Thule on that one. Just take the edge over the inside. I'm not real excited about either matchup.
Yeah. Jay Kelly got one snuck in here right at the end. Metellus, or wait and see if Brandon Jones plays. The part about waiting to see if Brandon Jones plays is, do you have a pivot to go to? There's a lot of games left in that 3:00 window. Sunday night game and Monday night game. They have a pivot too. I'm thinking Brandon Jones probably is gonna suit up and play. He was limited most of the week, so that's usually a pretty good sign that he at least was gonna go. Metellus just kind of evaporated from last year. Like he was like amazing wherever he was lining up last week or last season. Just hasn't been the same player this season. I'm gonna go with Brandon Jones. He's my boy this week.
And hopefully have a pivot if he doesn't. But yeah, he's limited all week. So
yeah, Kelly said he could grab a waiver piece if options. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Brandon Jones and hope he plays. So, Sauce or McLaughlin here. We got did McLaughlin get promoted? How did that work out? He's the Rams guy, correct, Eric?
Yeah, I believe so. I have a hard time playing Sauce against anybody. They're playing the Colts.
And McLaughlin saw a big reduction in snaps. He went from 70% down to 25%. Only reason McLaughlin's name sticks out to me, I play in a league with John Macri, and Macri dropped him. And anytime that happens, that's always a red flag to me. So like, oh, he's not the guy. So RJ, if you have got other options at the cornerback position, I would head over to the IDPshow.com. I mentioned this already once or twice before, but do yourself a favor, read Johnny the Greek cornering the cornerback article. He's gonna set you up for sure with streaming options at the cornerback position. Way better than 90% of the people out there, probably 99% of the people out there. He just does a fantastic job. So
yeah, I would drop McCullough for somebody.
Yeah. So Kyle Hamilton active. Jason wants to know, is he worth a start over Kyle Duggar or Julian Love? Wow.
Bears spin of riches again.
Yeah. I'm starting Hamilton. I can't, if he's good enough to go, I can't see him not playing. Julian Love has a great matchup too. Like I don't think Duggar's probably my third of this list. I love Love all season. I think he's got a great matchup versus San Francisco. Hamilton, heavily involved everywhere.
Yeah, I'm going with Hamilton. I love all three options, but I'm going with Hamilton on this one.
Yep. I was trying to talk myself into liking Love more, but I can't. So I'm gonna go with Hamilton.
Duggar has a good matchup this week too. So, but I'm sticking with Hamilton.
Yeah. So Lucas says he does have a pivot to Jair Brown, which is good, not great pivot. He plays a really deep safety role, but he got San Francisco or Seattle this week, so that's a good matchup on paper that way. So good pivot. All right, Eric, we've reached the 2-hour window plus again this week. I appreciate you with all of your technology problems making it happen this week. You've been on your computer twice, your phone once, so we'll go that route. So last one here, only because we know this kid, Evan. What are we thinking about Evan Williams this week from his return from injury? I'm cautiously optimistic. I think he's a better player in real life than in fantasy. I know he had a couple of really big spike weeks. It's just so tough to know what the scheme is going to do coming out of a bye and coming off an injury. I have him probably as a D-back 3, maybe as a flex option in some deeper leagues, again with 4 teams on a bye, but not somebody I'm trusting as a 1 or a 2 for me this week. I need to see it again.
Yeah, I was going to say, I hope you have better options than Williams this week.
Especially versus the Bears. You know, that Bears offense looked pretty gross the last time we saw him out there, so we'll see. So
Evan's favorite offensive coordinator is gone now, though, so.
That's true. A lot of Evan's favorite players, he was losing a lot of Seattle guys. Seattle's been dropping players left and right, so. Again, Eric, appreciate all your efforts this week. Doing a great job for us, and best of luck to you and your teams. Week 12, just around the corner. And so best of luck to everyone out there. Thanks for listening, everyone. week 11 in the books. Turning the page to the Dirty Dozen next week. So we'll chat at everyone again next week. And thanks for checking us out.
Thanks, everybody.